Hello everyone, welcome to Caesar Snack Sandwich. Yesterday I made a video on the top 10 DeFi opportunities in Ethereum, little snack-sized bites of each of them. But one of the ones that stood out to me was Value DeFi, and something I wanted to take a big look at and perhaps make a meal out of it. So let's head over to Value DeFi's homepage. Here on the homepage you can see all these different value pools. I will talk about these in a second, but let's first look at some of the token situation so far. So we have the total locked value within the protocol itself is around $230 million. Not a small sum, but not a gigantic sum either. The total, the current price of the native value token is $4.67. Now, it used to be called the YFI token, and this token is still actually active, but they have told me that they're voting to have it wiped out and completely replaced with the value token. I will talk about this a bit more later. Circulating supply is 600,000, very little actually, but the current total supply is about $4 million, or 4 million tokens rather. So let's take a look at what we have here. So here are some of the most active pools or opportunities that they have on the platform right now. So we have the governance vault. So basically you stake your governance value tokens, and you'll do that over here when I go through these other tabs. You have these different liquidity pools that you provide liquidity to. And if you want to provide liquidity to these different pools, it's actually the native exchange here, Value Liquid. It's up at the top. Now, in the Value Liquid, you of course go to pool, add liquidity, get your LP token, and come back here and click on the one that you've done, and you can then stake it. So here are some of the returns. The APYs on these different opportunities are pretty high, and some are pretty low. So take a look around, shop through these, and find out which ones you want to go through better. And the last thing down here is a seed pool, and this is interesting. This is where you supply it with just a single one of these assets, or however many of these different USD stable coins that you might have, and you can earn interest on it, such as, what does it say down here? 14%. And now again, the rewards are going to be paid in YFI tokens currently. Now, let's go back up to the top here, stake. So this is the first. This homepage basically shows these different opportunities here, but let's go into them in closer detail. So we have governance vaults. You'll notice that there's no actual stake here because they're trying to pull the FYV token out of circulation and replace it with the value token. If you do have YFI tokens and you want to turn them into value tokens, you can do so in this liquidity value liquidity exchange. You go to wrap, so a little bit slow. So you would then convert them, swap them over, and I believe that the YFIs will then be burnt, and they will mint up some new value tokens for you. So down here we have these different value liquidity pools. So if you want to stake farm your return, you can supply the liquidity pool tokens here for the different liquidity pools that you've decided, and here's your seed pool as well. So basically the things on the homepage are also here as well. This is where you actually perform the staking or the farming or whatever they're going to call this, where you perform the actual putting the token into the system. So over here we have value vaults. Now value vaults is kind of what when they first came out, they were kind of a fork of Yearn Finance, and this is kind of like a Yearn Finance WE vault, and the percentage is pretty good, 7 to 8%. This fluctuates on the day-to-day basis, and about 5 to 6% of value tokens. That's a pretty good return for just putting WE into the policy. They also have this infographic place where they kind of explain, where they take the time to explain the strategies with infographics. Since this is the vault that I'm most interested in, I thought I would take a good close look in here And so basically you supply one of these 3 tokens to here. It says farmers pay only deposits and withdrawals. So you only have to pay fees when you deposit and when you withdraw. Depositors save money on half gas by holding Chi tokens. So if you have Chi tokens, you can save money on the gas while you're depositing into the actual vault. Vaults will automatically find the highest yielding token on behalf and give profits back to you. So these are how they save some costs for you. So profit distribution is probably one of the most important. By community vote, so governance, 6.7% of the profits from all the value votes will be distributed to the governance stakeholders. So if you stake your governance value tokens, then you'll be eligible to these 6.5% or 6.7% of the profits. The remaining 93% will be, after gas costs of course, will be distributed back to the vault owners, the people who have deposited into the vaults. The LP paired vaults are more complex but result in the accumulation of more LP tokens. So if you supplied these tokens, then you'll be gaining more of these tokens, not more of the underlying asset. But you could then cash those LP tokens in for the underlying assets. But how are they getting the yield for the ETH? So we come back here to the infographic and we see the down at the bottom here we say single asset L to LP flexibility, blah 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 blah. So this is basically how they're getting the yield from the ETH. It's you deposit your WETH here into the vault, and they take, it says vault 2 here, but they don't have this vault 2. So what they're doing is they're going to split this ETH into a USDC and an ETH coin. So they will take half of your WETH, convert it into USD, and place it into some liquidity pool. Now it says here SLP, VLP, and Uni version 2. So they'll try to shop around and somehow find the best yielding opportunity and put your LP token, create some LP tokens there and siphon it back and eventually come back and keep building up your WETH. And then there are these 2 uni pools. Now these are the uni pools that reward if you were to stake the uni LP token on Uniswap, and you would gain uni tokens. So these are the 2 of the 4 pools, and they're somehow able to grant such a huge percentage, much more than other policies like or other protocols like Pickle or even Harvest. Now I saw in the Discord many people are asking the questions like, well, how is this possible? How can value provide such a high number here when Pickle can't? And the answer was multiple strategies. So it was a little bit unclear. So it's either honest, they are using multiple strategies, or there's a little bit of fudging in the numbers here. I can't be sure. I'm not participating in these. I've given this one a go because why not? It's just a about 2 ETH in there, so it's not too bad. It's not a huge risk. So these are the value vaults. I wouldn't really consider these to be vaults per se, but this one seems to be like when you're putting one asset in there and it's generating yield somehow and paying you out and giving you rewards in value tokens. So this one I like. So audits. They have a pretty big library of audits done. So this looks good. I'm not going to go through these and read them all, and even if I did, I wouldn't probably understand most of them, but they are out there for the reading, and this is better than a lot of other protocols that don't have any audits at all. There's some voting as well, some governance based on holding the value token, and you can read about the mission as well. All in all, I think the value that value token has given is pretty good. Like some of these tokens, 83%. Like I said, maybe these numbers are fudged, maybe they're real. I'm not sure. It's a pretty big community. I think they wouldn't be able to get away with fudging the numbers so hugely. And if they could fudge them, why would they leave this so low? Why would they make these ones so unappealing? Anyhow, so this is the value DeFi. Let's take a look at CoinGecko's price history. since you will be rewarded in value token, we should probably look at the history of the value token. It seems to be pretty stable, floating around between $6 and $4, bouncing around at a pretty stable price for the past 14 days. If we go to the 30 days, we see a large jump. It went up all the way up to $40, but that's just, that's a huge dump down. But it's been around between 12 and down to $4. So it's on a decline, but it is, they are issuing more and more and more of them, so you can expect the price to go down, but it's pretty stable. There's no large amount of volatility, so I think people are dumping the tokens. People are not hodling them, so they're doing something right in order to keep this price pretty stable like this. Let's look at the next thing here, the value protocol. Now this is their Medium page. They, I believe I counted this as 39 articles, full-fledged Medium articles explaining things. You can go through these, read them in your time. I would suggest you actually go through and read these before you decide to use any of their products in a large way. And since the first article came out in August 17th, and now it's, the most recent one is a day ago. So, they're active. Someone's producing these articles. Someone's taking the time to write up this content and explain things to them. This one's interesting. This is kind of talking about the new brand. They wanted to change their brand from YFV because everyone was labeling it a fraud or a scam because it was a fork of Yearn Finance, so they just basically changed it. Let's change it to value DeFi, and now they're calling it the value token, and I think that's a smart move. If we look at their Twitter has 11K followers. That's not enormous, but it's pretty good. So you can follow their Twitter and get some insight into them. Their Discord is pretty active. I wrote up a four question post for them and asked them some questions. And one of the mods, I don't know which one he is. He's a mod level 1. He came back with some pretty solid answers. Answered my questions quite well. But like I said, I've been reading through these, and I've came across a few times where answers were not provided in clear ways. But for the most part, it's pretty active. There's a huge amount of people in here, like thousands. I don't know how many. I can't remember. I don't know how to find out how many, but there's a lot. So it's not a small community, that's for sure. It's getting its work done too. So that's value DeFi. I suggest you to take a really close look at it. If you liking one of these pools, I specifically think, I like this. Personally, the only thing I've invested in is this WETH pool because I like the idea of just having one asset in there, and it's gaining some interest as well, and I want more. I like my exposure to ETH right now. I'm not too keen on using some of these liquidity pools because I don't know the volume of the trading, how much trading is being done on their decks, and that's where these have to come from. So these are value. They're all using value tokens. So you have to buy value tokens and stake them, but the percentage is pretty low, like 98% link and 2% value. So I think they should be pretty safe against impermanent loss or loss of value in the price of the value token. There's not a whole lot of 5 million, 3 million, 500,000. There's not a whole lot of liquidity in here, and the yields are still pretty low. So I'm a little not too keen on using the actual liquidity pool provision here. I prefer to provide my liquidity to Uniswap, but it's definitely something to consider. I think the key things are these right here. This is impressive, and I'm going to look a little bit deeper and try to find out why that they're able to do this. That's pretty much it for value DeFi. give it a go if you will, or take a look at it. And I would suggest you to join the Telegram, the Discord, and read some of the articles on the Medium, and take a look around, ask some more questions, get deeper, find out more, and before you jump into this.